It was back and forth, but it was MIBR that took the win on Mirage. Despite the best efforts from Chaos, who were looking strong, Zeppa showing us the skill he delivered once again on this map. But this time around, MIBR just came out heavy hitting in a big way. And a lot of that comes down to the likes of Fur, Fallen, and KNG. We were seeing the AWPs come out in style. And Chaos, at least now going on to Dust 2, maybe going heads up against MIBR isn't the best way to play things like they were talking about at the beginning here, guys, because truly their aim was superior this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, you could definitely see that Chaos had a bit of a game plan in mind to start things off, and I think that's what they benefited the most from as well. It's, it was mainly around attacking that B site and kind of just abusing Taco to start off things, creating openings for themselves. It wasn't necessarily meant to be the, end all of a round. They didn't exactly end up on B every single time, but it created enough space for them to actually have a pretty decent T side. But unfortunately for them, as rounds fly by, MIBR started adapting and actually get come to terms with what's going on and manage to salvage the first half. And once, we get into kind of a more scrimmy style of play on MIBR's T side, there's not really too much that Chaos can actually do about it.
Yeah, not much at all for Chaos at all. But going into Dust 2, I'm even more worried now for Chaos here, because it's looking like they don't play it as much as MIBR. They definitely won't be feeling too confident after a game like that. And if they want to try and play the heads up style, well, we just saw what happened. So is there much they can do here?
I mean, they'll have to step it up, right? And we need to see some more individuals come to life. I think Shepard had a good game here, but the rest of the guys didn't really turn up. John G, we saw him against Liquid having one hell of a matchup, but didn't turn up today either. So we need some more individual star power coming from some of these guys. Looking towards MIBR, Dust 2 is a map they've been playing actually pretty well, even despite being in this bad period. They won 7 out of the past 8 games they played on the map, so they're in a pretty good streak when it comes to Dust 2. So if I'm Chaos right now, I'm looking towards MIBR. I'm looking to what can I try to exploit and tackle. Well, it kind of worked on Mirage. I'd say they didn't give him a good game, and he's not having a great game. So if they can try to isolate him and try to run on him in the beginning and see if that's a weak link in MIBR, then maybe. But we go over to a map where the double op setup is very potent. Fallen and KNG both having a great map here on Mirage, so it's gonna be tough for Chaos no matter what.
Yeah, it looks like all hope was lost on those Betway odds that just threw up as well. 5 given the way of Chaos and 1.11 for MIBR. And, well, it's likely we will see that coming out of here. But is there some positives you can take away of what Chaos might be able to achieve on a map like Dust 2?
Again, it's a fairly screamy map. It's the map of upsets, really. So there's always going to be that chance. And again, I think we saw some positive tendencies over on their CT side as well. Even though obviously that more and more lent in the favor of MIBR, it was their double ops, right? It was able to actually win out a couple of rounds for them and give them early picks, give them a bit of calmness to their setups and whatnot. So that's something that they can also apply. Jacob already mentioned the fact that this is something we're going to look for on the side of MIBR, but we shouldn't necessarily forget about it on the side of Chaos either, because both Voltage and Steel can get into the thick of things. They're not necessarily just angle grinders or just going to sit out and wait for the right opportunity. They might actually go looking for openings and whatnot.
Now, is there any win condition we must see here for Chaos, Pimp? Is there something that you say that there is their way, they're shining light for them?
I think Steel has to lead by example. I think Steel has to go in there, have a great game himself. He has to get the confidence, get the groove of the game, have a feeling for how he can try to exploit some of the few weaknesses MIBR have on a map like Dust 2. Find Taco, try to isolate him. If he's having a bad game, then maybe, but a win condition for me is that Steel leads by example. He needs a great game and he needs to feel out the calling, set the tempo, set the pace, and maybe we have MIBR going to a third map here.
Well, we'll be finding out very shortly, but before that, it's time for us analysts to stop talk and us to go to a break, and when you come back, it'll be Launders and Scrawny to take you away once again.
Dust 2 up next, one step closer, my friends. I think Chaos have their hands full. We saw them at Flashpoint come out of the gates, do a very good job in their first showing, and they did the exact same thing versus a wounded Liquid. But it seems like Fur and KNG and maybe Fallen have been a little bit too much to handle. Launders, what do you make of that first map?
Well, I agree with that. I think that's true, but I do feel like the map was quite close, and MIBR only seemed significantly ahead in those last 4 rounds, where they caused the double eco. They got to 14 super quickly, and then it was the 1 rifle round to dismantle Chaos. But the problem is that, you know, things might go from bad to worse as we move to Dust 2. Mirage, we know Chaos are quite competent, but MIBR are going to probably be a bit more comfortable than them on Dust 2.
Whoa, 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 look at the tunnels. We've already got Taco here at the top of it, trying to hold them back, but that's a 5-man pinch from Chaos into Tons. What?
And
Dude, the counterplays and pistols have been so spot on.
Yeah, they've been spot on. They called out the B play on that previous map or on Mirage. Talking about it like it was so long ago. And then now they keep 5 on this crunch, so retakes totally fine as long as they don't throw away kills.
Let's see. They're getting into some dangerous duels there down CT spawn. Zeppa trying to trade frag through smoke, which he will, but he's burnt by Fallen's Molotov. Jonji unable to get into the mix just yet, but KNG being removed means that Fallen, the bomb planter, has to come up big with a 1v3. He has elevated Brazilian Counter-Strike in the past years, brought it into the world's spotlight, and now he has to serve as the gatekeeper versus Chaos here, and it's not gonna happen. 3 bodies come piling past, and Chaos pick up yet another pistol.
It was a nice setup that could have made it a very exciting 1v3 if he pulled it off. With yeah, he laid the groundwork for that to be a very memorable 1v3 if he pulled it off. That was very kind of you, Connor.
Thank you. I do try to do a good job from time to time.
So overall, you know, they even had a couple of like small flubs there, but they continue to trade even in these very tough situations. And here, I mean, KNG took a risk. He had low HP, but yeah, he did risk getting body shotted, just perched up on the like a banister, whatever, of the A site, peering into CT spawn like a hawk. Like a hawk. What is going on? We've got a little bit of a pause.
Let me check the chat.
Yeah, let's get a chat update, chickadee chat. And we could do it this way, just in case there's stuff we can't share. But if there's stuff we can share, Connor's gonna spill the beans.
Coach wasn't in the server, so Chaos played without a coach for the pistol, and now that he's in,
That's why they lost.
the action returns. I like being in the server. I feel like an investigative journalist. Oh, careful now, TRK. Don't want to stand in that doorway too long because there are shots flying all over the place towards Long. Heavy amount of presence from Chaos. And I mean, listen, for anybody who's starting to doubt Chaos or to anybody who doesn't believe, I watched them get their asses kicked by Liquid. They lost 16-4 on Inferno and still came back to pick up that series. So let's just take it round by round. I think they do have their hands full with the performances we saw out of MIBR's individual members, but Chaos have earned our belief in their resilience. Double smoke to block off CT spawn. Vanity's grenade does nothing. And MIBR, well, they're just going to creep and crawl up the ramp closer to the site. If TRK can get this duel versus Vanity, then maybe, just maybe, leaving Taco behind turns out to be an excellent idea, but he gets caught by Voltage. Taco's going to have to swing wide, and that gets Zeppa another kill. So Chaos to the 2-0 start here on Dust.
They tried to do what they could with just these couple of AKs, but there wasn't a whole lot. Some damage dealt, but that's about it. They knock down Steel, get out towards the mid B, but can't actually crack open a site. 3 kills in total on MIBR players. Another pistol round here for Chaos to try to farm. All started with a fantastic pistol setup on the CT side, and some good aggressive nades to shoo back for Shu. Get out of Long is what Mr. John G says. And Voltage will get decimated. I mean, he's up there taking a headshot angle versus these players are on the stairs. And
Settle down now.
Not having the time of his life, unless.
Yeah, resets the recoil. He tries to commit to the mow down, but once you get past the 20 bullet mark, I think you should always just stop shooting.
Cat Wright would tell you, don't stop believing. He says, if you spray and you mess up your spray to 25 bullets, 26 bullets, 27 bullets, hold it down. That's what he said. He said that to me once. But I mean, not everyone can do that, I guess.
I do think it is a statement that he resets the spray, comes back in with another quick headshot. Now looking to gun them all down. Just fallen left over. Zeppa, he's getting peppered through the boxes. 12 health.
Oh, what?
All in, takes back the further player, and Zeppa comes up in a crucial moment for yet another kill. He takes 4 there. In a round that was versus lesser weapons, Zeppa had to nearly clutch.
It's true. Everyone just dies around him. She's actually, yeah, scorched earth everywhere except for where Zeppa stands, and he almost died too. So we'll now find out if MIBR can take it even one step closer, maybe even win the round. They've got great guns here to work with. Jonji not being shy around long, good to see. Obviously, don't want him to die. Run the risk. Wow, fast shot there by Folan. It's in the leg. I think it's even through the door crack.
The old hinge smoke from KNG. Good way to get up Xbox. Everybody should use that smoke. I mean, it really couldn't be any easier.
Well, they're pretty fortified over on the A site, except for Jonji's low. That actually does make a difference. Yeah, but yeah, they have voltage opping on A with the man in CT spawns. Very decent setup, but it's definitely MIBR want to go B. We'll see if Steel gets a kill or not. Yeah, wow, instant drop of the bomb, so that's going to call for the rotation. And wow, he barely stays alive. Yeah, but doesn't even get spammed down.
Vanity's in the corner of this beat. Oh, okay, here comes Vanity out from Humvee. Knows that Taco's probably going to try to jump over smoke, but he is still bested nonetheless. For maybe caught in no man's land, but he duels versus Voltage and takes his head clean off. Zeppa, the next casualty. Fur really kicking it up here in the gun round. MIBR bursting onto the scoreboard with 3 survivors. B was the name of the game. It's not the first time they tried to get there, but it is the first time they succeed.
With the good guns, so it does show us a lot. Now, I'd say definitely Chaos had a better setup on A, but they weren't willing to move whatsoever. And MIBR, helped them believe that it could be an A take, and then went out for the mid to B. But it's basically Vanity all alone, and Steel has a very small window of opportunity to get a kill, or 2 if he possibly can. He's lucky he got the 1, and then the Molotov ended up spreading late. So he does well from that position. I mean, don't get me wrong. In terms of helping his teammate, that's the only thing that they can do. But Fur very careful on these angles, and just the individual peaks here are so nice. Very few bullets used on every single kill for MIBR. And once the split is on, I mean, it could be 4v5. But if Steel is stuck there, can't get another kill, Vanity's alone on the site, and they're coming window, door, and tunnel, Vanity should at maximum get 1. No matter where he's standing in B. And that's the idea for MIBR. Okay, Astargio Zicador winning the CT pistol round on Dust 2 to go up 1-0 gives you a 58.3% chance of winning in regulation. MIBR had a 32.7% chance in regulation after 1.
I like the confidence that you read that Portuguese in.
I mean, yeah, it's
just fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I feel like I know enough Portuguese people now at this point
to just assume
that I'm allowed to speak Portuguese with confidence.
Double Molotov towards stairs. Neither team wanting the other to take that tunnel control, but Fur, well, he's cracked open this A site, it seems. Big kill on the first, and he tippity taps at Vanity. There's the 3rd headshot versus Zeppa. Fur is coming alive already here, transitioning the success we saw on Mirage right into Dust 2. Bomb has been planted. Man's pretty damn good at Counter-Strike. Steel, well, he was in tunnels once upon a time. He flanked all the way through T-spawn.
Oh,
and he's got a tap. It's going to be hard to extend out and get it, but I mean, listen, man. Fur's up close. Swapping to the Glock. I respect Fur there. He makes it an even fight. Pistol versus pistol. Still gets that 4th kill in the round. So we watch Fur extend his score to 7 frags, 3 deaths, and MIBR getting their 2nd round. Chaos still leading by 1, and more importantly, back in with a big buy.
Well, they go for the 3-1-1. Up shot through mid. So close to actually hitting the mark. Vanity trying to do some damage. It's Steel playing here with the op, pretty much solo. Nade lands on his feet. I don't know if they go for the push. That might not be a bad plan. They end up slow pushing the B-apps. Love doing this with the op. I feel like you're favored a lot of the time, and he's going all the way in. This will ease up on their A-site take. Force it, especially if, yeah, they get the chance. Now, Taco's known that that's an important name tag on a round like this. They might even assume B is open here. Jonji, good kill. Trading down favorably for the CTs. Stuck on to A now, though.
Oh, look at them go. Gonna try to charge up KNG. He is very much welcoming them in because the longer he stands here, the bigger the distraction. And yeah, is right. Voltage, he slips off the pole down into the spawn. Welcoming MIBR to trudge along long and get into the bomb site. But there are options here. Weird situation. Fur, he's on the other side of the smoke as Steel makes noise. Oh, Steel, he's just running around wildly, and that's going to cost him for sure. Fur's patience pans out. Fallen, able to cross despite the slight gap. And he's going to go for the catwalk bomb plant because Fur's still up here. No real way for Chaos to get out of this position. Does not help when they have the double ops, tantalizing save, and Vanity's already on 3 HP. I feel like that's a round that Chaos kind of had in the bag. They had the long control. They got their initial kills. You know, the B-tunnel push to start it off looked great, but I feel like chasing KNG is what cost them.
Wait, sorry, chasing KNG where?
Yeah, trying to extend to Cat, and then one fell off to spawn.
Oh, see, that was the problem. That if they did it together, then they get a trade. But they could have also both gone CT spawn and played a retake setup 5v4 and also had a good chance of winning. But instead, they did the worst thing was somebody fell off, someone continued to fight, and then they didn't win that duel. No trade comes in, no cat control, no man advantage.
Right here.
So it's kind of like, yeah, I honestly think, you know, the worst part of it all, it makes it the hardest, is that Voltage just like drops off right before the fight takes place. So Zeppa probably feels like can't even jump away. But yeah, and then the other thing is they could have jumped into CT spawn earlier, still had the man advantage, still played it down into a retake situation in CT spawn, and then gone from there. But they didn't decide to do that either.
Steel making noise and getting KNG's attention wholeheartedly. So much, in fact, that Vanity strikes him down from behind. And this is a curious situation because Chaos, they are very aware as to this commitment on the A site. Can MIBR puncture their way through? It's a labored spray from Fur, but it works. 4 versus 4 ensues. Just the 2 ops that they had saved in the last round to try and hold this back. There's a player over towards the corner. Here comes Jonji stopping the bomb. He is so ill-equipped for the situation, yet still successful. And Fallen, able to respond back. Up close, though, versus the AK. Another Fallen killer op shots here to get us 2v2.
And also the shoulder peek, the jumping bait to make that spray happen. Just bringing his opponent into that fight. Happy to take a couple bullets of damage to get a shot off too, and now the plant's down for him. Sick movement by Fallen.
TRK's head's been spotted, and Vanity's got it.
Man, he's been opping.
30 health. This is Sniper v Sniper v Sniper. Fallen's gonna have to peek. His bomb's been tapped. Gets the first one. Unsuspectingly clutches out of nowhere. Vanity exposed after the first shot, and that is the Fallen we all love to see.
That was beautiful. Man, I'm more impressed by Vanity's opping than I am by his rifling so far. He had a really nice round there. In that last moment, though, why do you have a pistol out when he was facing Fallen at long? All he had to do was on the trade, he'd have a slight moment where he could get his op out and be on cycle before Fallen.
You saw how
It
the
must have
bomb
been a
plant
misplay.
fooled Chaos as well because TRK put it down behind the boxes. They didn't think that
For
it was
long plat,
actually
yeah.
for long. Yeah. So he's looking the wrong direction too. Don't know if TRK just did that because he had to. Regardless, Fallen works with what he had. It's always a good day when Fallen's hitting shots.
Yeah, looking nuts. Yeah, he earned that round. That was definitely lost for a second. Even Jonji, I mean, needed that Jonji kill as well as the one in CT spawn.
Trying to run boost, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. It was labored, but it worked.
It was kind of slow. It wasn't really that impressive
Yep.
either, but
Yeah.
it works. Does the job. Uneven ground on Dust, too. Not one of the
that's-
flat maps like Nuke.
The kind of run boost we'd be able to pull off IRL.
All right, here's one. Oh, no.
No, they
Backwards
just
jump into
fly down
CT
to
spawn.
CT. Two of them. Voltage has not seen this, and they're already going to be real close. He misses the first shot, tries to get the scope back up, but Zeppa lends a helping hand and goes back upwards for the peak. KNG and Fur, though, clawing back into this 3 versus 3. CT's still holding on to long. That's Jonji in position, but KNG, oh wow, spot steal past the jumping player. That's Vanity to be able to come out from the exchange on top. Bomb is planted for Catwalk. And Taco, well, he's going to get adventurous. Goes over towards the CT spawn to shoot Vanity in the back, forcing Jonji's hand now at long cross. If he could take down Fur, that would be his chance. Remember, bomb's planted for Taco, so he goes for the insurance policy, doubling over towards Xbox. Whoa, Jonji making this possible, but he's going to have to really boil it down, and the Molotov really spells disaster. No way he's going to walk away with the win, so he takes the op and tries to save. That is MIBR on 5.
Oh, and they dropped the op as well. And Taco can go ahead and pick that up for KNG, Fallen, whoever wants it. That was actually very nice movement from Voltage, but he should have had the next op kill when he landed. It was an easy shot, I want to say, and he should have had it. And then they could have had a chance. Unfortunately for him, you know, as the opper on long, it's no secret that you're playing there. You just have to deliver on the players crossing cat. That's like your job if you're playing on the site. You're not even meant to try to fight the long guys so much as try to make sure your long teammate can stay alive so you can continue to fight cat. So
Eco's working well. They get an early scout shot versus KNG. A frag softens TRK. But then we get the answer back from Fallen. Headshot through the door. But don't blink, because we do have Chaos, 2 members up on Cat, and if they peek into Fallen's scope, he's gonna have to hit the flick. The timing does not pay off for him, but there's KNG and Taco. Good little pickup on the Cat play. Vanity.
yeah. They found themselves their path of least resistance with the pie save situation that Chaos are in. So on this road back, they're consistently pulling out these eco rounds, which, you know, these days are rarer, which is great, obviously, for MIBR. And there's a couple of small flubs here from Chaos that are making me, you know, lose faith in their comfortability on this map. They clearly have the players, but some small things in the setup seem to be going a bit off. A couple of shots missed, and MIBR do not look like they are missing. And in fact, they've only improved, it feels like, since the last map.
Only TRK who's, you know, a little struggle bus here.
He doesn't have any kills.
On Dust
He has
too,
0
but
kills.
He does have 5 assists. You know,
That's
and
true.
what's the assist to kill ratio? Is 2 assists the equivalent of 1 kill? Does it take 3?
Well,
What's the verdict?
it can, I guess it depends. I don't know if you need more than 60 damage. Maybe 2 is even worth more than a kill technically, but the kill itself is worth more by default. Let's see what the ADR is. Can we get a tab? Can we get a tab more stats check on TRK?
Hold on, I'm in game. We're independent casters. We don't need no production. ADR, that is very false. Yeah, we absolutely need it. Sorry. Yeah. 40 ADR for TRK.
Okay, so
66
yeah,
for KNG.
he's playing bad.
I mean, that's straightforward.
See, if he had the five assists could have had 100 ADR with how assists work. So yeah, 40 ADR is a failing grade no matter how you spin it. But their MIBR winning, the overall game plan looks pretty good. So he's still got time to make up for it.
Of course. I'm not going to sit here and roast the poor guy. It's his first week within MIBR. As we said, 1,400 days of playing under the Team 1 roster.
That's loyalty.
Big time. Finally gets to make a move. And so far, not bad. Finally probably has the experience of playing with a teammate who's able to drop 30 kill carries.
Setup is actually, less. Well, it's better over towards B. Obviously, this time around, not 3 on A. Voltage playing by himself. Steel's got an op and B on top of the rifle that's here to support him. Scary situation for MIBR. I wonder if they're double thinking this, but there's 30 seconds left and they're really grouped in tunnels. So this should be not a bad round for Chaos. Yeah, great. Oh, wow. Is he done yet? I wonder if he's done.
Oh, 2 more players coming out, and as they get to the cusp of the exit, that's where they get gunned down. KNG taking a shot to the leg, not meant for this world much longer, for 10 seconds on the opposite side of the map. So sure, he'll catch Voltage by surprise. And this other CT, John G, can just hide inside his spawn. He'll end this round where he starts the next. But Chaos have finally cooled off MIBR somewhat. This was 6 rounds in a row for the Brazilian squad. Chaos breaking that streak for once.
Chaos showing us some level of prescience when it comes to the setup that is to come, and call it out, realizing that their B has been shut down heavily in the past, and they decided to double down on it, op on both sides of the map. And Steel, I mean, as soon as he got a tingling, starts throwing nades, starts spamming the smoke, ends up getting 2 without seeing anybody. The final boss. That Fallen 1v2 was his 4th clutch of DreamHack Masters. He won 2 1v2s and a 1v3 against Furia. Wow, the maker. You can see lots of shades of MIBR in Furia. I think in some ways Furia are cooler to watch now, but totally, like Art and Fallen, K Serrato and Cold Zera, Candle in the chat, and there's so many things about them that you could draw similarities to. I'm not surprised that Fallen can play well against them. He invented them.
Brazilian Counter-Strike test tube babies confirmed. Actually, I think that's Denmark. I'm on to them. Fallen, be careful. The threat of a cap push looms. He was caught by it when he played top mid, but it has been foregone by Chaos this round. Giving it up. Again, they're going to use that run boost to try and play close. Let's see if it's a little more dramatic from third person. I've seen worse.
Yeah, quick before the nades come out. They're not going to throw this the smoke. Whoa, yeah, no hesitation.
Oh, wow. Zeppa recovering from the flashbang with enough time to get the kill, but the op shot of Voltage is pushed back. Zeppa's still here, locking it down. Bomb has crossed over to the site. There's 2 members of MIBR here within A, and Zeppa cuts down the first one. Sure, the bomb's planted, but he does see the head just on the other side of the box. A little bit of chaos unfolding here on A. TRK, 17 HP, hoping to lock it down, and Fallen is coming to protect him. That grenade sails forward, doesn't have to get the kill because Vanity already did it, but Fallen, he just needs 2 crisp op shots. There's the first, he tucks into the cover. It's him versus Steel, leader v leader. Experience on the board for both teams, and Fallen ducks down, dips out, and dies. Steel survives, gets on bomb. It's down to the wire, but Chaos is gonna take it.
Wow.
1 round the difference.
Yeah, one more misstep there, and Fallen can get around the wall. Could have been another 1v2, 1v3 to his name. In that situation, great round from Zeppa, specifically. If he doesn't kill KNG, they definitely lose. So Not only that, but getting the second kill on top of all of it, on top of everything else, was massive. I kind of liked MIBR going out quickly. They had a great flash for Voltage as well on the corner of Long. They gave him like less than a split second of time to try to land his shot before he was made useless. Some good trades back and forth here on Long. Zeppa gets away with 1 HP. The kill, and Voltage helps him out as well, but ends up dying for the cause.
And they're not going to stop. MIBR continue to charge, getting closer and closer, catching them unsuspecting of that level of aggression. Steel, still up. Vanity fully HP. This really is kind of the Vanity versus Taco round because both of the other teammates incredibly low. Couple of flashbangs for the CT, but the bomb plant for MIBR.
They can retake from anywhere. Looks like they're not going to try to go long because they haven't kind of gone up that quickly. So still come up from a CT spawn. Vanity from the top ropes. And they'll try their best to work together. Taco peeks out to his other high HP teammate.
There's the low one down for the count. Caught into the crossfire, and Vanity does not believe in the clutch, so he's going to have to walk away. MIBR extending their lead again. 7 rounds to 5 for the Brazilians' T side. This is looking good for them. A little surprising, I would say, that they catch those CTs on ramp, not ready.
They've caught players not ready a few times, but yeah, that was a little bit surprising. You know, from our perspective, it's like, what the hell are you doing? But from their perspective, they're like, how the hell did they get here so quickly? They just don't have the same information. You know, Zeppa is super aware usually, and it might have been Steel to ask for that boost because it looked like he was running to elevator.
I think so,
yeah,
too.
they, you know, staying in pit and waiting it out is totally normal for long control, so they maybe didn't expect them to rush it so quickly, but I guess they just saw no point in waiting around since they took out Voltage, who was opping on site.
Trying to set up a booby trap with their pistol players.
Titillating.
Ooh, there was like reverb on that flashbang. Oh, probably reverb on that one too. Voltage and Zeppa's ears ringing. But remember, that flashbang's being primed by Steel. If they find the timing on it, that's the big one. But they do dodge it. KNG gets vision just before she pops. And he's going to try and keep the charge going. Clear Steel off the closer ledge. And now it's just the ramp man that they have to pop, which Fur will do. Bomb all the while chilling at the top of mid. MIBR aren't looking to make mistakes this round. They're not trying to offer that bomb over. If anything, they should still be able to find Vanity and take away his gun.
It's very true. Yeah, bomb will take its time. Everybody else will take its time. They've got the search party out. They are combing the area, moving up quickly, but at the same time patiently. And Vanity crushed from both sides. Around 1 by elimination. Don't need a bomb plant. They want to make sure Chaos's money is low. And since there's only another round after this, they can guarantee that if they win this too.
Still a 10-5 half in the cards, potentially. MIBR keep this momentum up. There's no reason not to believe in it. Been doing an excellent job on T side. Remember as well, of course, that Chaos started this half 3-0. From 3-0 to 5-8. MIBR have been dominating Dust 2, really justifying their pick. Steel goes for the deep grenade. Slight damage, but the real fight is unfolding over here on Long, and that's Fur on his own, trying to handle and trying to manage a lot of players, but Steel's spray down through the smoke, has him swapping to the USP. Vanity's back up, but a player's already gotten through. Oh, KNG misses one. And now they know that he's standing out here in the open. This is a round that MIBR should not win, but there's still the chance. Fur, only the one. Everything to do here for the Opper, and the Deagle kicks it off. Jonji's spotted on the peak, but KNG is gifted a second chance. Now, does he suspect that there's a player wrapping around from tunnels? Because that could be his demise. He changed sides, not fast enough. Chaos, 6 rounds. MIBR not getting their double digits.
Hey, it was a really good 1-2 defense there on the B site. from both Steel and Vanity, playing off of each other, using the smoke to their advantage, making sure that not one person could come out, not more than one person could come out at the same time. And in that 2v1, I actually really liked how they pushed Zhangji through the smoke while Voltage was pushing aggressively through tunnels. It's the only way they could play together in that situation, and they made sure no one could die playing passively.
I think actually some of the most praiseworthy plays from Chaos this half have been their tunnel pinches. They've had really good timings with it at time. Hell, they started the half there with their pistol play. But that was at the beginning of this half. We are now at the very end. Round 15 already got the 5v4 for MIBR. Vanity committed to the corner, finds KNG, caught off guard, but with all of these utilities blocking CT spawn, it's hard for Zhangji to get out. He will still succeed in curbing Fallen's ambition. He was tucked into the corner and hoping that he would go unsuspectingly through it. Now, another. Zhangji just stomping out the threats one after another. He tried to get aggressive through the doors while his two other teammates locked down the bomb site. They have not gone for the plant just yet. Gonna try and call this quits, but the CTs, they just charge through. They're retaking a bomb that has not yet been planted. And now Voltage is gonna have to try and clutch this. He's got the smoke, an op, and a USP. And you could see him trying to struggle with creating a route into this one. TRK posted up on the doorway, and Taco, I mean, he's the real insurance policy. So the smoke creates a little bit of space, and he gets his first kill. Knowing that Taco's close left, now it's just about getting vision, and instead, his head is popped. MIBR, 9 rounds on that T side, and they'll be switching to the defense. Folks, don't go anywhere. We could have the Brazilians finding their first series win here at Masters, but we'll have to find out after the break.
It's always been there, it's in the back of your mind. It's always been there, it's in the top shelf in the back room. It's always been there, it's in the happy place where you run free. It's always been there, it always will be there for you. Let the world in, open up your arms. Let the world in, let the world in.
MIBR in full control here on Dust 2, and you could say the same about the series. It's the same 3 pieces from success on Mirage that transitions into Dust 2. Fur, KNG, and Fallen. My goodness. Too much for Chaos to handle thus far, but they are not out of it. No, sir. Trailing by 3.
Oh,
thank goodness.
Holy.
Oh my god. I just saw what happened.
Yeah, just into spawn. Wow. And another 2. Sure. Why not? It's Fur. He has to get 20 as soon as the second half starts.
KNG one tap as well towards the B bomb site. So everything MIBR could ask for at the start of the CT side, they get. 3-piece from Fur. I got $20 that says Fur drops another 30 kills. You taking that bet?
Okay. All right, fine. I'll take it. I don't know if I'm
All
allowed
right.
to do that, but yeah. An imaginary 20 Monopoly bucks. Or Canadian dollars. Some of you call those Monopoly dollars. Whatever.
45 schmeckles on the line. TRK gets a kill, robbing one away in the pistol. His 5th of the map so far. But this is the dirty one.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh, actually, these are
ouch.
the dirty ones.
Yeah, those are all. It's all very dirty.
It's all
Yeah.
just nasty.
They need to go through the dishwasher.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Scout for Voltage. Pistols up for Chaos. It's starting to look a little desperate, but they have to get this map rolling. Got a deep flashbang being thrown out. KNG, line of sight early. He is one of 2 M4s. Fur being the... Oh, never mind. Swapped. Bogdan's Law.
It's the rich get richer.
I like that MIBR aren't just being hyper aggressive either. You know, it's one of those moments where they feel like they're outclassing their opponents. They've proven to be outclassing their opponents. And yet in a crucial pivot round like this, you're not going to give them any room to breathe.
Maintain tension.
Yep. Keep it taut. Keep it tight. Taco, backside. KNG, real close. MP9 works wonders versus Steel, and he's just smoke spamming with his silent USP. Look at the damage he added to the tally versus Chaos. Taco, still back behind the site, actually dies. And that's a little bit of an opening. Get your bomb in, take your cash, make a little money.
They might rush this.
Nope. Zeppo's gonna get a reload on the M4 too.
Oh, yeah. Fallen only has a scout.
Yeah, but here comes Fur from inside of tunnels, and it's going to be really tough for Voltage to hold both doors and window with that scout, especially with Zeppa hitting the dirt. They're going to sniff him out, and that one's that. Sure, Chaos happy with the plant and 2 kills on top of it, but a team ace from MIBR to get their 11th and create a 5-round lead.
5-way high five. Nicely done. MIBR. They took so many small advantages in the first half to like bring them to a slight advantage, and I think Chaos have shown us they have the talent to win, but MIBR are now creating a gestalt, a team that is growing beyond its individual skills, and it's cool to see teams and players. Sorry, it's cool to see players get better or worse as we move map to map. And in Chaos's in Chaos's camp, it's some players not performing as well as Mirage. They're not looking as comfortable.
Ooh. Voltage takes one in the cheek as he falls down into pit. But at least he's in there. Gonna be tough to get anything done, but he is safe for the time being. And then everybody leaves him. Actually, hold on. That's John G in there. He switched spots.
Just gonna fake long, but Fallen's peeking because he has a scout, so it's not gonna do much. It's always worth a shot, of course. But they've got the double cat set up, so I don't think anyone's really gonna move.
80 damage nade from Taco. Epitacio.
Oh, they throw a second smoke to long from spawn.
Very cool. I like the ambition. And then the recognition all goes to Taco because he lines up 3 bodies, and any hope in hell they had with their fancy eco round, Steel's big brain pulsating with that double long A smoke and the 4-man B push. But sometimes bronze beats brains, and that M4 looked real hard to get by.
But it was an information counter, to be fair. Like, I was just thinking about, like, that is a really cool strat. But if somebody is scouting down long, then, you know, it's all of your information's countered because you just see everything that the smokes are trying to deny you from seeing. So if a team doesn't have a scout, they're too scared to play spotting for information, that could work really well. And you don't even need 2 people there to help you do it. So nice
Could have
thought.
been a collateral. Ends up being 1. Fallen still close, and there's a player boosted on the boxes. This would be a cool little anchor to leave behind. Fallen, lucky to be alive. Chaos should still be cautious with this mid play. KNG tucked in behind the doors. 1 smoke, 2 smoke, block smoke,
Blue smoke.
gap smoke. Imagine. 3 players behind it here on middle. They're starting to sniff out a B hit, but if they go for this hard stack, I mean, the cat to A is all too easy.
Yeah, holy
big
smokes, they have
gamble.
no one. I mean, they killed 1 mid, so this might actually lead them to thinking about the mid to B. They're looking for a rotate as well. They don't know if anyone's holed up. I mean, they know one person's B. They still might try it. We'll see. Okay.
I feel like if they didn't have the
Get some
long A
information.
anchor, then maybe. But hey, I
Yeah,
really like
true.
this round in the sense that it was pieced together nicely. We saw the long A flex, the boost, the walk away. Very similar to the eco round previously, where like even though Chaos had such little hardware to play with, they played across the entirety of the map. They got a pit position, they doubled back to T-spawn, they had their smokes, a little presence in mid, and then the commitment on tunnels. Like they were blanketed across Dust 2, and this round as well. It helps, of course, that MIBR just forfeit the A bomb site and that Chaos find it for free. But hell, it's not going to be easy for MIBR to know exactly what's up if Chaos stay this on the ball.
I don't know how much they want to try to hunt down these frags. If you're Chaos, they're definitely lower on money. Yeah, they're winning the round, but they're not exactly in a power position economically. Jonji's going to leave that fight. MIBR want to bait them into coming into this 3-man setup in the playground, but there's no fun and games going on here. Only
Although we
murder
are
and
having
conniving.
fun playing games, you know?
That's-
Oh, well, you didn't even see him. That's not fair. What's next? Double ops. Analyze that.
Yeah, I mean, if 1 op doesn't work, 2 op surely will.
The double op setup is something that our beloved analysts were talking about before the game went live, and that the talent here for MIBR does favor 2 snipers.
Double ops, 1 MIBR, a major. They are the happiest to double op, and that was with Cold Zero. Now they have KNG. They love the double opping.
Cool.
Very cool, very modern.
Definitely not outdated. Oh, like monarchies. Steel, lucky to be alive, man. Not gonna lie, he was already at like 50 HP, and then he takes a skimmed op shot. So Iron Man over here. Of course, that secondary op is here with Fallen. He's got his eyes deep on Catwalk. The fire
Yep.
blocks it off slightly, but I mean, he still has the information and a strong station set up on the site. Because after he gets his kill, he haphazardly hops back into safety. All is good at A site for MIBR.
They did play it carefully to entertain the thought of the double op, but yeah, Fallen was just too comfortable with that specific angle. I mean, it worked out so well for him. But yeah, it's high risk, obviously, when you're going up against double ops and unknowingly that you hear 1 op shot and you think there's only 1 on the map, then you start taking risks into other ones. So
Whoa.
What?
Missed shot. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on TRK. He manages just the first. There's still a long player in Fur. another heavy hitter. But Chaos, 2 players already tagged up. They haven't gone entirely deep on Cat. They still leave one in elbow. And Vanity's playing Goose, but he's been seen. Fur hops up, softens him even further. Frag grenade, negligible, but they catch him retreating. And then Zeppa comes in using the baskets, the wicker baskets of all things as his cover. It's not the most concrete cover. And so in the end, he still dies. Defuse for MIBR, 13 rounds for the Brazilians now.
Man,
and that's a huge 6-round lead.
Yeah. Yo, we got to add the devs on that one shot. What the hell?
Right?
That
This
was
one?
in.
No.
This was
This
on.
one was nice. Where's the next?
Yeah, we need a low light
Lost.
for that one. That was messed up.
sands of
I've never
time.
seen someone be bigger on someone's scope and still miss. But did you see how like Fur's jump, his jump initiated the entire retake. Player falling back, them chasing on that after he throws a nade, then him catching him an elbow. Desculpa por Zika Guales at 13-7 up. CTs win 83.2%, I'm guessing, of the time on Dust 2.
There it is. Live action updates here at DreamHack Masters.
That was
83.2.
For a second, that was like Elon Musk's daughter's name. Elon 83-2 percentage. AEIOU.
Okay. Let's settle into what should be a very crucial round for Chaos because the money is all on the line. They come in with their 5 versus 4. That's a strong start for them, getting a little bit more aggressive on middle than late, but falling. Oh, just does Jonji dirty. Poor guy was out there making space, vibing, having a good time through double doors, and he gets utterly shut down. Now, there's another solo member of Chaos, and that's going to be Zeppa over on Catwalk. Half of his health already gone.
See this site setup that they're using, KNG? They can hold down long with the op, and they have someone on the corner, and if the guy on the corner hears anything, then they can flash. This was a setup that Chaos could have used. That would have worked a lot better. Now this guy can support. He can hold on to Cat. He can get the
Peek off
kills.
the flash.
They can hold on to long.
Ooh, but Voltage at least has a sign of life for Chaos here. 40 seconds. Bomb's been able to cross over. Fallen. He did scope, so that one should have been called. He's just inside of the smoke. Voltage gets the best of him. And oh, TRK, he's going to be checked by Vanity. That's a big heads-up play to make and a huge clawback into a round for Chaos. It looked like that setup you highlighted was going to be the key to their success, and I was all for it. It looks so nice. The flash assist over towards the cap play. And then
they did
also
their jobs,
on long,
They got the 3 kills.
was looking good, but it's going to be Taco to have to look even better. If he can dodge the first sniper bullet from Voltage, win that duel swiftly, then maybe he gets up ramp, but actually Voltage is tucked. And oh, Vanity comes down, swings wide, and gets Chaos their 8th. A little fire to the frag on top of it. 5 rounds the difference still. Chaos, not close yet, but at least showing some resilience because Voltage and Vanity could have easily lost this round.
Yeah, I'm surprised Baller didn't have the advantage on that side. Maybe he had peaked after Voltage had crossed. It must have been that because the smoke's on the right side. That was a really nice couple of kills from both of them. Like, honestly, you know, working on it properly, isolating the frags so there's no trade potential, kind of baiting out aggressive angles because of the fact that MIBR had such a big man advantage. A lot of things were really nice there from Chaos. And they actually have earned themselves the eco round. The coveted eco, the freebie.
What can be one of the most enjoyable rounds of Counter-Strike as the guys with guns, or one of the least enjoyable if you start eating CZs.
True.
You know? It's a real hit or miss. But they're going to hit the A site after getting an opening kill at B. Steel being a nuisance and keeping 3 players' attention for MIBR. TRK just underneath this smoke. Steel holding off in tunnels is going to find Fallen creeping into the crosshair, so that frag's easy. He's barely alive at 3 health here, Steel, but still confident in the duel v Fur. Fur on 14 loses his teammates, and now being the last man up, he fights for his life. Poor Janji never saw it coming. This is Chaos starting to roll something. I'm not going to say the comeback just yet, but I definitely don't write off these teas. It's looking well oiled. And I mean, even from the get-go, even in the pistol, other than the fact that Fur was just popping heads with the USP, I mean, the ideas have been clean from Chaos. I never expect anything less. At least there is clear intention in every single round when Steel is at the helm.
No, I agree with you. I think the ideas have been great, but the ideas were great on Mirage and better executed, and they still lost. And on Dust 2, I feel like there's been some... What the hell? That was like the fat end of the railing, like through the bottom. Holy smoke. Yay! So I think the ideas were good, really good, even better on Mirage. They're clearly better team on Mirage, but the execution has been worse on Dust 2. And so it's like they do half really well. So, but the thing is for MIBR, unless we can say their ideas are bad, which I don't think they are, then
that's why they call it suicide.
Yeah.
That's actually a really big kill in this round, seeing as that's the only scout in play for MIBR. You know, you start off with the 5v4 really quick, and it actually enables them to get hyper aggressive. Yeah, Vanity's got to be careful. He cannot afford to be caught. That is the entirety of MIBR down range. Zeppa is going to call for Vanity to just leave it and let him try and contain it, but even he is toppled. Now, Janji, alone in the tunnels, tries to force the issue, and it pays off. That escorts the bomb into the B site, where Steel has already pushed through, clearing all the way to the base of mid and forcing Taco to run away.
Ops scooped up, which is really nice. But yeah, they dealt with that. Got a little bit scary, but yeah, Steel pushing in, calling out Fur, rotating in through the window. Fur not hitting that second shot. He's obviously asking for a lot. And, you know, all they'll take is damage. Oh, yeah. Any commentary for that one?
Sometimes left click can be the issue. I love that he delayed the shot just to make sure he nailed it, and then nope. Oh well. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Tragedy can still be comedic. So
Shakespeare?
Maybe. Who's that?
He wrote some books.
Actually, they were plays.
Well, long control is a success for MIBR. That could be used as a one-way. Yeah, okay. He's going to tag our man in the back of tunnels. That's Steel. Doesn't get a name tag on that, but does a good bit of damage. Pretty decent advantage for the CTs with the long control. So they've been stopped on 2 fronts now. They still have a chance. So long anchor could just die. And Taco's been scared kind of off his favorite angle. So they'll try to just force it up on Cat. Oh man, we love this spot, don't we?
100%. This is the big one.
Oh.
Doesn't look like anybody's actually going to fall victim to it, though, because this is a really quick readjustment from Chaos. They're going out towards mid doors. At least it seemed. A redirection yet again. 3rd time's the charm. They're going to try to get out from tunnels, but they lose their anchor. Janji being alive could have slowed down rotates. Now KNG is at bat, and dropping bomb is huge, combined with Fallen's second op through door, and Zeppa now. Way too much to ask for, you'd think. He's caught on his fall, and that is a 14th for MIBR. Damn, Janji dying, I think, changes everything.
Yeah, they had a way to trade him too, though. In the CT spawn, is that the one?
This one here, he's
yeah,
because
they had a double push into the CT spawn, so I think they were willing to lose one, but they needed to help KNG. If he gets 2, yeah, they're in business. But give me the bomb. Janji was the only player in the game without an MVP on Mirage, and he still doesn't have one on Dust 2. Let him plant, guys. It's all about that Valve score. If you want to rank up, you got to plant.
Give me the loot. Give me the bomb. What's Fallen got? Must be an op on the ground. I like this double op setup. I think that last round was a good example of it. I mean, the poor guys got wall banged on Chaos trying to cross. Fallen's gonna head out to B early. It's him and Taco. As KNG will try to hit him with a bit of misdirection and play that A-site anchor role. Steel's been a real pest over on this tunnel entrance, and Fallen, not gonna fall for that. I love it. 5 versus 4 here for MIBR, looking to secure 15 rounds and gun at 5 map and match points. But they'll have to close. No easy feat, Chaos. They've been slippery at times.
That upper push is so strong. We saw Chaos use that in the first half as well to take out Taco. 5v4 once again. Full strength on the A site. They have the double op set up in play. MIBR quick to fall back here. Oh, no damage dealt to the players crossing. And the spray goes a bit off, but they end up finishing it with Fur. KNG not flashed off his angle.
Just gets the one. TRK, deep pit, Vanity. He needs to hard clear this. He gets the confirmation, but oh wow. TRK, 2 big kills. Now Voltage, 1 versus 3, and he gets wrecked. 3 letters, 3 kills. TRK, baby. That's the 15th round. And he could have had the quietest game of his life. He could still have 0 kills up until that moment. That is a hell of a time to come alive. And at this distance with the AK-2, the adjustment onto the head of Vanity is the big one. Because the bomb would have been planted for long, and then the rest of the CTs would have struggled to come out of their spawn ramp. That's big, and that has to hurt. Look at where it leaves Team Chaos. They've got a Galil, an Ump, and a Mac-10.
Yeah, you could argue all 3 of those kills were almost as important. You know, one's for log control, one's to help, and then both the other 2, one's post plant, one's to help stop the post plant. Like, insane. That was insane.
Point and case. Listen, they're gonna try. They're gonna try their damnedest to just tear it up and charge through this B site. They're gonna have Fallen to deal with on a very passive angle and Taco real close. We've seen attempts into this B site get shut down by nothing other than just smoke spam. So I'd be cautious if I was Chaos. Molotov at their feet. Gonna be real tough to get through, but they'll try nonetheless. Fallen in the open, has cover by Fur. Taco now dropping the bomb, and this looks like it's done. Voltage and Vanity isolated in the depths of the tunnels. MIBR, they lost versus Furia. Chaos besting Liquid. And now it seems like there's a little bit of life and a little bit of interest here in this group, because we've got MIBR at 1 win, 1 loss. Chaos the same, and Liquid. Who gets eliminated? You're gonna have to come back tomorrow, because for now we are done. MIBR taking this one not in a 2-1 fashion, but a straight up 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 looks better on Dust 2 even than Mirage. Chaos definitely put it up a good fight, and as I think it was predicted, you know, that they would look less good on Dust 2. They still had some really cool ideas, and they had clearly drilled some stuff that they tried, but they just couldn't keep up with MIBR, who are also that good in terms of ideas, but just with slightly better execution. And of course, you know, TRK popping up at the last bit of the game to just make sure that they stood no chance. It all came together for MIBR, and they definitely look solid. And yeah, every BO3 necessary for MIBR at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually wrong. I misspoke. Liquid, remember, it went down to OT, but they're 0-2. So Chaos, MIBR, 1-1. Fury at the top of the group. And we're just lounging. We're just lounging. Listen, they scroll through the forums and have to prepare. Their job is not done. They started the group off with a very convincing upset. This one had promise at times, but it seemed like Fur, KNG, and Fallen came into the game today and we're just not going to let the underdogs upset. They've still got some life in them, and that's excellent to see. But we're done here, Launders and I. Folks, we'll have the analysts after the break, and then we'll be back with more DreamHack Masters Spring 2020 tomorrow.
It's a clean sweep for MIBR, and they get it done in style on Dust 2 against Chaos. Chaos, they gave us the hope. They showed us what they could do against the likes of Liquid, but in this series, it wasn't meant to be. And Fur, he was impressive. Just look at these USP shots, but it was everyone on the side of MIBR pulling their weight across the games. And you got to say now, it makes this group very interesting and how it could all go down with Furious down at the top spot, but MIBR and Chaos now tied on points. And it's Liquid, the NA saviors they once were, down in the very bottom, guys. What a crazy way for this to get started. But I'm not even going to allow you guys to talk because we got Fallen on the line already. He's sitting back ready for his interview, and that's what I want to get into straight away. Hey, good to hear from you, Fallen. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good as well. It was a nice game. Ramp it up.
Yes. A much-needed win, I can imagine. How does it feel, right? Because obviously Chaos had such a good game against Liquid, and we saw what they were able to do. But you guys really took the fight to them in this game, and it looked very convincing from yourselves.
Both maps went through a lot of rounds. I think Mirage, because we lost both pistols and didn't manage to win the first round, they got kind of half the points they made on the whole game. So they made 12 points on Mirage. Kind of 6 points came from it. So it looked closer than it was, in my opinion. I think on the gun rounds we played much better than they did. But it's about the conjuncture, right? It's about everything. So they made 12 points. They were close to get the first map. And we went to Dust 2. I think Dust 2 was closer than this card shows, to be honest. So it's completely different history than the first map. Dust 2 was closer. But both maps was pretty good. There was some rounds where it didn't look that pretty, but we got the wins. That was very important, and we're gonna have the last game from the group against Liquid soon.
So obviously, I'm sure you're going to get this question a fair bit, but obviously you're bringing in a new player ahead of this tournament. You haven't had a lot of time to obviously practice and properly prepare as much as you would have liked. But could you take me through the process of figuring out who you wanted in as the new fifth in MIBR and how you're kind of trying to work him into the lineup and make sure he's going to be able to perform early on?
We tried many different players in the lineup across the last months. I think the last 2 years, to be honest, and always different reasons for different changes, of course. And this time we wanted to have someone who had a little bit more experience, was a little bit more adult, and would be a little bit more open to speak stuff, like even call stuff in game and be a part of the game instead of just repeating and doing what's told to be done, so we needed someone who really could fit these shoes, and we're trying to do that improvement with Mayer, but in the end we felt that it wasn't going to be as fast as we'd like to be, and we have a major player in Brazil, so it was very difficult to really hope for this improvement, to really hope for the things we saw lacking, and we decided to go with someone who'd be a little bit more ready for the time. We already see those improvements. I don't think Turkey is playing as good as he would like, to be honest, at the moment, but it's very tough to join a team that has so many troubles as ours in the recent past, and he has to deal with all those kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure that with him matched and with him more time, he's gonna start to release his game. The pressure's gonna go a little bit off, and he's gonna play better and better. So I'm very satisfied with what he's doing outside the game, satisfied with the way he plays the game, the ways he communicates. So I'm hoping for more improvements for our team with him.
We've seen a lot of teams lately change the in-game leading role. For example, in Liquid, it's no longer Nitro calling, it's now Stu 2K, and we see a lot of other teams are trying to juggle up that role. Are you still the only in-game leader, so to speak, in MIBR? Are you also sharing that role as it is right now?
I like to discuss the stuff in how we're going to approach the games beforehand. So, for example, KNG and I, we talk a lot about how we want to approach those games, like options we have, the way other teams are playing. So we try to update our meta. We try to watch old games to see what's different, what's new. So we're always talking a lot about it, talk with those conversations as well. Fear is more a little bit like, I just want to play, just let me know how it needs to be done. And so he's not really into it that much. And TRK just joined. TRK is always someone who is more spoken about those things, so it helps as well. But when it comes to the match itself, it's more about my calls, even though I iterate information before the games. Hey, this is usually how they like to play. I like to start the match like that or like this, and let's pay attention. And I like when they're vocals as well. So it's not like I say everything. I actually prefer when they're vocal, when they see me doing something wrong, calling something that's not on point, they have the freedom to come and say, hey, fun, let's go back to the plane or something like that. So we shared into those moments, but overall, it's me with the final decision most of the times.
Okay, it's not long ago you guys. I don't know if lost is the right word for Zeus. He's no longer part of your lineup, so you don't have a coach anymore. Are you looking towards getting a new coach? Are you okay with the setup you have right now?
Ricardo has been our coach on the golden years. Don't forget about that as well. So Ricardo knows a lot about how to take care of a team, knows a lot how to deal with stuff internally in terms of supporting outside the server, making sure the practices are good, make sure the atmosphere is good, dealing with all those outside things. And inside the server, he has some good inputs as well. He's always updating himself, bringing some new stuff from YouTube videos. He's always watching every single game. So he knows a lot about some players. For example, we played Mirage today, and he knew that Steel allows to play Catwalk. So it's kind of some information that he brings in and helps us shape which strategy we're going to use. So we're very satisfied with Ricardo, but getting a coach in the future is not off the topics because Ricardo does a lot of stuff. So we never know. But for now, we're very satisfied with him, and we want to make it work with him.
Like, how much pressure do you guys feel in terms of, obviously you mentioned the fact that you guys have a major to play in Rio in a couple of months. Do you feel like that is potentially weighing over you? I mean, obviously you guys want to have progress with the new lineup and everything, but do you feel like it might be a bit of a nuisance as well, because you obviously want to perform at your top level come Rio, but do you feel like it might have, I guess, be a bit too much of a worry at times?
No, I don't think it's a little bit too much of a war. Of course, if we manage to not play this major, it would be like most disaster of our careers, to be honest. Like, we just can't lose an opportunity like that. So we need to work as hard as we can. But I don't think too much about the things that can go wrong. I just rather go and think about the things that needs to be done for us to get there. So we take everything in consideration, and we take every single step of our daily basis. Are we doing what needs to be done to get there? And that's where we're focusing in. So we need to focus on the right direction, think correctly about what are the steps that are going to take us there, instead of really focus about how harsh it's going to be if we don't get there. So I don't lose time thinking about it. But of course, there's some pressure about it, but it's fine. We have been dealing with pressure the whole life. It's okay.
All right, so talking about the next step, I mean, for you guys, that next step, I guess, on the journey is your matchup versus Liquid. How do you, I guess, rate Liquid right now? I mean, you guys have gone through your fair share of problems and dips in form and whatnot. And now we're seeing something similar from Liquid. Do you feel like you guys are in a better spot than the Liquid are potentially right now?
Lately, Liquid has been a very difficult matchup for us. And I like to say that there are some maps where we definitely didn't have a single chance. Like, there are some maps where they really crushed us, but there were a lot of matches where we kind of were winning and we played better than them, and he still lost because of some mistakes here and there, you know. So it could go either way in that regard. Like, I don't know what to expect right now. I know that Liquid has some problems at the moment, like they're not playing their best game. They're a very solid team, but nonetheless, they have super great players. They know how to play this game very well. And, you know, when they play us, they always make sure to bring the top they can because they know how good we are as well. So it's going to be a very solid match. I think we're going to do everything we can to win it. We need to start performing better, and we're working hard to do it.
It sounds like we're going to be in for a good game, Fall. And I want to give you this opportunity because the Brazilian stream is always popping off as well, to say anything you want to say to the guys back home.
In Portuguese?
Yes, mate.
All right. Galera, obrigado a todos aí que estavam na torcida hoje com o jogo contra o Chaos. Vamos continuar.
We lost the audio just at this time. What is that?
Again?
There we go. There we go.
Right, again. Sorry. Galera, obrigado por assistir o jogo aí contra o Chaos. Estamos trabalhando duro aqui para continuar integrando o TRK no time, continuar melhorando, fazer boas performances, e o suporte de vocês é fundamental pra gente todo esse processo. Valeu mesmo, vamos jogar firme contra o Liquid na próxima e tentar buscar essa classificação. Tamo junto.
I know they always appreciate that, and we appreciate your time as well, Fulham. Thank you very much, man, and we look forward to seeing the game tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See you guys next.
See you, buddy.
Yeah.
You want a translation, James? Or?
Yeah, please, Pip. Yeah, I'll wait for
Run
that,
that down for us.
No, you were saying something about, happy for the support from the Brazilian crowd, and obviously, it's an honor to get interviewed by the pimp himself and stuff like that. But we don't want to get into that too much, but you probably heard it out there.
Well, did he mention anything about you playing for Team Liquid at any point?
He used to play against me, Team Liquid, and let's be honest, back then they also lost to us. So, you know what? We got it under control.
Well, luckily, we don't have to listen to Pimp's nonsense anymore, because the phone's ringing once again, and this time we're going to have Steel from the Chaos Camp with us. Steel, first thing I wanted to ask you on this one, mate, was we were a bit confused by the veto that went down, just in the sense that it was very scrappy maps, you having to take like the heads-up fight with them. What was your method behind all of that?
They are our best maps, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's theirs as well. That's where we were going with it.
I mean, teams have overlapping. Well, okay, put it this way: what would you have done if you had the veto control?
You're asking the wrong man. Maybe people would give the answer to that. I definitely wouldn't have the
Well,
answer
you're
to
asking me
it.
the question like it's a scrappy fight. It's like, what are we supposed to do? Like,
I just wouldn't
honest,
personally
what
go
are we
head to head
expect-
with MIBR, you know? That's what I'm coming at from this.
why not?
Because they're bloody dangerous, that's why.
Okay, we have good aimers on this team, and we're picking maps that we can aim well on. I don't know, I don't know what other map there is to pick. Like, there was Inferno in the series.
Yep.
There's Mirage. There's us two. They banned what? Nuke.
Mm-hmm.
We banned Vertigo, and then what's left over? Train or
Overpass.
Like, you want us to pick
yeah.
Overpass against them?
I mean, you beat Liquid
You did
on
Liquid
Overpass,
on it,
right?
yeah.
It's okay. So like,
So at least
blind
we can.
squirrel finds a nut, something like that.
Okay, so we could, I guess, confirm the fact that you didn't necessarily let that win against Liquid go to the top of your head or anything like that. But obviously, like, you guys are pretty fresh lineup. You had to make some changes that weren't necessarily planned for and whatnot. And all things considered, looking back at the two first games you guys have played in DreamHack Masters so far, what's your, I guess, summary? Obviously, big win over Liquid, and you do put MIBR to the test here as well. So are you satisfied with what you guys have been able to deliver so far?
I'm never satisfied. I think one of the big things is that we need to be able to convert these rounds where we have these man advantages, these info about like where they are and how much health they have and how many people are there, and just being able to like know, let's peek together, let's peek now, like let's catch this timing. You go first, I go second. We have a flank coming, let's make sure that the flank is coming and we're not instantly dying so the flank is useless. Like, we need to make sure that we're converting all of these. We need to make sure that we're not getting ecoed. Like, we got ecoed on Mirage, which was pretty bad. And then again on Dust 2, like, it was like we had the advantages, and like 3 rounds in a row we had like a 5-on-3 or 4-on-2, and it's just like, okay, we know where they are, let's go and do this together. No, it's taking too long to set this up, and then we are having, like, we're supposed to go this way, but then like one person's going that way, so then these guys are like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go that way too. And it's just generally not good.
Okay,
And then the post plants as well.
Okay, so I think we can all agree to that. I'm gonna do a little analysis of you guys being a little bit disjointed later on as well. But would you say that's down to the fact that you're still new, you haven't had the practice, or is it that the individual decision making by the players that is still not up there?
Some of it is because we are new to each other, and then, like, you know, if one player comes from playing a certain style their entire career, and then they come and they're kind of like with this, and, you know, if people come and they have set routines and like this is their job on this is their role, and on their team they would do this together instead of going fast and pushing this guy that's low health, they would regroup and go some other place. I think that does create some sort of thing, but I don't think it's like a big thing. I think the biggest thing is individual. It comes down to the individual. People need to know, like, when it's their time to peak, when it's their time to hide, just having the confidence to just peak, taking initiative and setting up, like, let's double peak this together now, let's push this for info, or push through, just in general, like, get an early flank. I think that comes down to individuals, because that's when you see things break down in mid to late rounds and in post plans, it's usually like, most tactics will get you to, like, on T side, they'll get you to the bomb plant, they'll get you to like the 3 versus 3, the 2 versus 2, and then from there it's like, okay, there's so many variables to account for that beyond knowing, like, okay, these spots are good in general for this bomb site on a retake. Like, it's like, who takes first contact, who's low health, who's got like an op, who's got the rifle, where are we situated, where did we hear them last, or like, do we expect a flank? Like, that's all coming down to just communication and kind of just making a plan up as you go along. And that comes down to individuals. There's like, you can kind of practice that, and you can go and talk about, like, we can go and watch this game back and say, here, when we're in this type of situation, this is what we could do better next time. Like, we need to make sure, like, if we're in a 2 versus 4, for example, you don't want to just hide in corners and let them just come out at us. We need to peek them, especially if we have an op. We want to not let them get close. We peek them this side, then we peek them that side. We kind of like pick them off as they're coming to us, get into 2 versus 2. And I think that right there, like, we don't have the confidence to just do those peaks and take those fights, and we're giving too much respect and letting them to just get into position and like funnel in at us. And
Yeah, sure.
Or concave, I guess, the opposite of funnel.
Sure. It makes sense, right? And to be completely honest, I don't think any of us right now know what the potential of Chaos is, right? You're the one practicing with the team. You're the one leading the team, I guess. Can you tell us what is the potential? Like, what can you guys achieve with this current roster if you stay together? Are you a team that can go up against a team like Liquid in the future, or what are you thinking?
I mean, we went up against them. What kind of question is this? I mean, yeah, like, so obviously, like, we've gone through a lot of roster changes, but I think, like, and we're only with this current roster for like at most like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with like Zeppa, it's been like I think 2, maybe 3 weeks. So the thing is though, is like we have players that have really good mechanics and can shoot back. It's just a matter of getting on the same page, getting some confidence, and just not giving so much respect to our opponents. Like we can go and beat Liquid one day and then lose to some complete like ass MDL team the next day, and then play it close with MIBR the next day, where it's like, you know, if we didn't lose CT side, I think it was like 12-10 or 12, it was like 12, it was close, 12-10, 12-11, something like that. We lost to the Eco when they came up A, and it's like we stacked A with 3 rifles there, and we get like double entry'd without a kill. Like I missed 15 bullets on the guy that's got like a bomb out in his hands, and he pulls out his gun and one taps me. It's like, if we win this round, you know, it's looking a lot better for us, and Mirage is going to be a lot closer than, I think the final score was what, 16-13 or something. I don't know
12,
what the score was.
yeah.
Same thing with us too. It's like, you know, we had the lead, and then we lost some rounds where we had the man advantages. We lost some post plants. We still kept it kind of close, and then again, like they pull apart when we lose like one bad swing round. And it's always like one swing round in all of our games, whether it be like a round 2 after winning pistol and we get hard reset. It's always these swing rounds that happen that it's like we have the lead or we're playing it close, and then suddenly they just they just take 6 rounds in a row type of thing. And if we're able to eliminate how often we lose those swing rounds, and usually it's against like a Force Buy or an Eco, but it happens like at least once a game, if not once a half. And those are the most punishing rounds, because it's not just one round, it's like 6. Or sorry, not 6. If it's once a half, it's 6. If it's one, but it's in general, it's 3 rounds. You lose that round, and then you have to decide, like, are you double save, in which case you're losing 2 more, or you force buy, lose that save, and then you have like a really poor buy the following round. So that's potentially like 4 rounds. So those are like the biggest things, and if we're able to eliminate that, I think that we'll have better score lines in our games. We'll win more consistently, and then we won't be sitting here asking questions. I guess this is the second interview in a row where I've been asked basically along the lines of, "Are you an upset team, or are you gonna be like consistently performing?"
Thing is, you're sending us mixed signals, right? So you would be the best one to tell us whether or not you're an upset team. You're the one practicing with the team. Can you find consistency with this lineup? Yes or no?
I mean, I can say yes. But if it doesn't happen, like, don't look at me, but like, you said yes in this interview. It's like I said the same thing about our old roster, but then like, you know, we tried and it didn't work out. We need to change players and we try again. I am you know, optimistic about it, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not whether it's a team game, and sometimes like things aren't going to work out. People aren't going to mesh. Styles aren't going to mesh. Philosophies aren't going to mesh. You know, maybe some player that has a lot of potential, maybe we don't see that potential. Maybe it doesn't come through. Like, you give them a chance, you try to let it flourish, you nourish it, whatever, and then at the end of the day, it's like it'll either work out or it won't. The best I can do is try and say yes, we'll be a consistent team. But if it doesn't happen, don't just highlight clip this and be like, "You're dumb, Steel, you said that you guys were going to be top 30. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so I was going to say on this, right, because he's saying what you're with Pip's question there. For me, still, I opened this segment up when before the game began, of saying how you are most likely one of the best, if not the best, IGL that NA has, despite obviously the stuff you have to go through, the whole major side of things. But how taxing is all of this for you in terms of rebuilding, trying to keep reinventing stuff, trying to keep pushing forward? How are you handling it, like, mentally, especially as we're in Mental Health Awareness Week? Because you've really gone through it all, mate.
I think that, like, the biggest thing is I don't remember what I have done with certain players and what I haven't, in terms of, it could be tactics, it could be like game philosophy, it could be like just, you know, there was a point in time where I kind of had a system in terms of like, if we're in these types of situations, I think this is how we do it. And I feel like with these guys, I haven't even like looked at like, I have notes on a system. I don't even think I've looked at it with them yet.
Okay.
So I do, in a sense, kind of feel lost with that, and we're just kind of going along because we have like all these MDL games, and we have DreamHack, and then like right after DreamHack, we've got Blast, and then before this, like we just formed as a team. Like we brought in John like 4 days ago. So like all these things combined, it's like I'm kind of lost as to where we are. I'm not, I wouldn't say super stressed or anything, but there's definitely more that could be done, and I feel like maybe the first 3 months of me joining Chaos, like back in October for a few months, like we had a pretty decent system, even though kind of our roster was shaky in terms of like, well, we picked this guy up and then this guy left and this guy couldn't play and all these things. But like even back to Ghost, like there was at least some sort of structure, and we were able to spend more time doing like review stuff. I think the biggest thing right now is that I'm not spending time with players like one-on-one review or like going through their point of view and just like making sure we're on the same page, because right now it's literally like I think Vanity and I are kind of close-ish together in terms of like being on the same wavelength about things. Like we'll obviously disagree on things or we'll discuss things out just to kind of be on the same page, but with the other guys it's like this guy came from this system, this guy came from that system, and this other guy came from this other system, and making sure all that works right now. We're kind of just like going along with it, and we haven't had a real chance to actually sit there and just be like, let's sit down and be like, okay, you like doing it like this, I don't like doing it like that. I like doing it like this, you don't like doing it like this. We need to find some sort of compromise, and find some sort of like, not a compromise in the sense that like I'm gonna do something I don't like just to make you happy, but find some sort of middle ground where we can both kind of be happy and feel comfortable. Because we just don't have time to actually fully fledge that out.
And is it just you that's doing all the lifting and the work on this stuff, or is there more help from the rest of the members of the team? Because given like what you're saying about experience and all come from different systems.
I don't say no. I'm not doing like the only heavy lift. I think Vanity and MC do. MC is our coach. I think they do a lot as well. I think just being what I'll do mainly right now is I'll bring up like a topic that I think we should discuss. Like, how do we want to approach this? I think we could do it like this. And then it's like, here, open discussion. No, we shouldn't do this one. We shouldn't do this smoke. We shouldn't do this flash. We should do it like this because reasons. And if you're able to just sit there and like logically work through a discussion like that and then come to like a solution at the end of it and be like, okay, like this is how we're going to do this. I think just starting that conversation is the biggest thing, and I think that's what I do. And then I'll present like this is an idea of something that we used to do like years ago, or on this team, or it worked with us, even recently. And then we'll be like, well, I saw this other team do this flash. Why don't we incorporate this flash into this tactic of ours? And I think that's mainly kind of what I do. I start the conversation and I present like base ideas, and then from there we just discuss and kind of make our way.
Perfect. Well, we won't take any more of your time, mate. We'll let you get ready for your next game that will be coming up as well, when you're going to have to play Furia later on. And thank you very much for your time. And I won't bully you on the map picks in future. Don't worry.
Okay, I won't bully you back then.
I love having Steel on, guys. You're always going to get some good fun coming out from him. People sat there scratching his head away already at the madness we just went through. But there is a lot for this man to take on, not just in his career in general, but like every team that he's come a part of has been like picked apart, or players leaving, or going over games like now. Like, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, that's for sure.
But listen, you can say what you want about Steel, but you can't neglect the fact that he's still within the scene. He's still trying to work. He's still trying to find his way. He's really
dedicated.
He's super dedicated. You can like just in an interview like this, right? The reason why he snaps at us, right? He's energetic. He's very into it. He's passionate. He loves the game and he wants to win, and you can only respect that. That being said, though, I think there's a lot to digest in an interview like this, and I think right now Chaos is the team of Chaos, right? He's not sure where they're going or where they can go for the future, but I like the fact that they're trying, and I like the hustle. And again, you can think whatever you want about Steel, but he's a man that knows exactly what he wants, and one way or not, he'll find a way to get it.
Yeah, it does happen.
There's just something about like his drive and ability to maintain motivation, right? Because we've seen a lot of players, I guess, drop off, lose drive or motivation a lot easier. They haven't had to go through the same kind of hurdles, and the fact that he's still at this stage where he constantly has to deal with rebuilds, and when you listen to him, kind of list the issues that they have to, in terms of what's going wrong in their games, it's a lot of fundamental stuff. And if you go back to the top tier teams that he played in, those are likely not the biggest issues that they had a lot of the time, right? So how does it feel for him to kind of continuously grind back and start from scratch over and over again without just losing it? That's impressive in itself.
Well, Pimp, you've been back on our drawing board for us again, right? You got a Weatherman segment for us this time around. So what are we looking at now?
Yeah, and I mean, to those of you out there who did pay attention, I think Steel was onto it. I even said it before going into Dust 2 that Steel needs to lead by example. And what we got here is Steel leading by example. The problem for him and the problem for the team is that they're not following up. Now, if you take a look towards Steel right here, he's going to rush out through a smoke and he's going to initiate this attack in towards the B bomb side. Vanity, he's going to go out middle. Smokes are covering CT spawn, smokes are covering left side. So they could do a B split right here. That's what they want to do. Now focus on Steel as we play out the clip right here, right? He's ready, he's waiting. 2 mates are coming up here, delayed. Steel just goes out. Nobody's coming with him. Voltage waiting with the scout. Steel dies and just stop it right here, right?
Oh, yeah.
The teammates are not with him. It's disjointed. Steel wants to lead. Steel probably has a plan. He probably thought he had a timing, something along the lines, but the team didn't follow up with it. Vanity still standing down towards CT spawn. These 3 players are still on the way out, so it's disjointed. We can switch to the point of view of Steel as well to illustrate it for you, right? This round actually ends up being MIBR's as well. They get into the B bomb side, and it was a very close one, but it's just a problem. He's out here, he's creating a lot of space, but he's not getting the kill, right? He's not getting the backup from his teammate. KNG, no pressure. He's forced to pull out the USP. Had the teammate been with them, well, it would have been an easy kill for them. Didn't happen. So I think, and that's why I asked Steel, because I knew I was going to do this segment, that Steel has an idea of how he wants to play. It's just, the synergy in between the players, the synergy in between the team is not there yet. He has an idea in his head, but if he can't translate that into the other players, as he was saying, as he was describing, then it's always going to look disjointed. And that's why they need practice. That's why they need time. Nothing against Steel, nothing against the team. This is probably just a natural course of being a disjointed team who hadn't had enough practice.
Well, we should take a further look at this group because it is getting very interesting now, guys. We saw Liquid now down right at the bottom. MIBR have managed to get 3 points on the board with this win, tying them up with Chaos. And it's Furia who are large and in charge still, and they've only got Chaos left to face. And, well, we know this. If Furia keep delivering like they have, they'll be clean sweeping the group, no problem. But we could be in a position for a 3-way tie.
Yeah, I mean, that might actually be likely. Again, Fallen talked about how Team Liquid in general gives them really, really tough matchups. And even though Liquid hasn't necessarily delivered to the level we expect, you can't really write them off at this stage. So we very well could be looking at three teams tied at 3 points, because with how Fury has been playing as of late, I don't really see them dropping to Chaos.
Yeah, no, that'd be a tough one for them to hit. But we've got to look back at what we've seen throughout today. And we started off things with the, I would say, unlikely match of Complexity versus Mousesports being a straight 2-0. But it was impressive from Complexity.
Yeah, and it's very disappointing for Mousesports. I mean, they are really not looking good at the moment. They were talking about trying new stuff. We've seen Chris J not buying weapons in certain games, and they've been testing out all sorts of stuff. But the fact of the matter is that right now, Mousesports is not playing some of their best Counter-Strike, and that's a problem. That's a team that at a certain point were ready to be, if not the best team in the world, then at least a top 2 team. And right now they're losing to pretty much everyone. So Mousesports, they're not looking good in this online portion of Counter-Strike as it is right now.
No, and then we had Big go up against the Mad Lions, and we were all heavily favored towards Mad Lions, and Big came out with a serious game plan and a hell of a lot of prep work done here, which I think was most important.
And it definitely helps, especially when you go up against a typical Danish team in that sense. Doesn't really hurt the fact that you're starting to see Searson find his groove in Big as well. We saw on multiple occasions what he was able to do for Sprout. If he's able to translate that in on a consistent basis into this Big team, they actually have a ton of talent. Again, Tabson has been a player who for a long time has been far too good for this team. So they need to kind of look at themselves and feel lucky by the fact that he hasn't left already for greener pastures. But again, if they're able to gather, decent talent around him, this big team can actually be a very scary opponent for most really top tier teams, because I think, they have Tao, they have Gabi kind of guiding them through the strategical parts of it. Towson doesn't really seem to lose his step by having to in-game lead and whatnot. That's a dangerous recipe for a lot of other teams.
Now, Mousesports may have not come up top in their game, but Rops certainly showed us something for the Corsair play of the day, and he did it in style with a deagle as well. This was more than impressive.
And that was absolutely amazing, right? That's Robs right there when he's at his best. Super controlled with the deagle and just playing out the angles perfectly fine, taking the time, hitting the shots, and it's just amazing by Robs. And just that little bonus info, we get to see it right here. Robs actually uploaded the clip on his own Twitter as well with his own sound and stuff. So if you want to see it again from his point of view with the sound from the keyboard, then head into his Twitter and give it a like and give it a watch. That is absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah, it's the last two towards the window. It's just sickening. Oh.
It's pretty crazy as well. Like in the meantime there as well, he has picked up an M4, just like quick switches to it. So he's just like, okay, no bullets. I got to do this with the deagle. It's just like the presence of mind to understand that I don't have the time to actually reload, go at it. And again, the positioning of the opponents is going to be too far forward. I'm going to be under too much pressure to just got to go through with it. Absolutely insane. The problem is those were the kind of rounds that Mousesports were able to win, and only those. And those don't happen too often.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with those money shots every single time. But we're getting towards the end, guys, and it's time for us to thank the sponsors who make all of this possible here at the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. We've got Corsair, Intel, Monster Energy, DTS, AT&T, and Betway. And without these guys, we wouldn't be able to do this, even though it's all from online, even though we're all over the world. We're covering some amazing Counter-Strike, and we're able to get the job done. But that's all from us. We've had a fantastic day of Counter-Strike once again. And hey, if you've got more Counter-Strike that you want to see, make sure you're back here on the stream tomorrow. We're kicking things off once again, same time as always, with 3 more best of 3s for the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020.